Hey kids, hope you guys quarantine's been going okay. Bummer we haven't been able to see you guys these past 8 weeks now, but normally this last couple weeks of the year we try to come do this concrete demonstration, so we're going to try to recreate that. But before we get to that, real quick, we're going to try to review some of the things we try to teach you guys this year. Um, so let's have a little quiz, huh? So we've been talking to you guys all year long about engineering, right? So what is engineering? What are the two classes that we take a lot of in high school and college? All right, do we take a lot of history, math, science, spelling, English? We use a lot of math and a lot of science. That's right. And then what do we do with that? We get to design and build things, right? So engineers use a lot of math and science to design and build things that are useful. We talked about the different types of engineers, right? In my mind, there's the big ones are like the civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical, aerospace, and chemical. You'll find those at most of the big universities. But then there's a whole bunch of other ones here that are listed here. That you got biomedical, computer, marine, materials, mining, nuclear, petroleum, a bunch of other kinds, right? So what type of engineers build these kind of things, like these roads down here, or maybe they're building buildings that take a lot of steel framing, or maybe they're building water treatment plants. What kind of engineers is it that does that? Yeah, that's us. That's us, the civil engineers, right? That's what Sane Associates is. We're civil engineers. Okay, here's another type of engineers. What are these guys? They do things with engines, like they make engines that go in your car or your lawnmower or your generators, and they take gasoline energy and they convert it into some type of moving energy. Or they'll do stuff like this over here. This is a diagram of an air conditioning system, where it takes hot air from inside, goes through a pump, goes outside and cools it down, and then blows the cool air back inside. Those are the mechanical engineers. Yeah, these guys right here. Next, who makes this kind of stuff? These big power lines that bring electricity from the power plant to our homes and businesses. All the way down to doing like little small microchips that go in your computers and your cell phones and all your electronic gadgets. Who makes those? Designs those and builds those. Yeah, that's the electrical engineers. Electrical engineers do that stuff. And then how about these? This is something it's pretty big industry here in Alabama. We've got up in Huntsville, we've got the NASA guys building this stuff. These rockets and satellites and things that go up in outer space. And then down in Mobile, we've got Airbus making planes and all the parts that go into planes. What kind of engineers design and build those? Right, that's these, yeah, the aerospace engineers, right? So those are kind of the 5 big groupings of engineers that I think it's good to learn the differences of. We also talked about materials some, right? And we're going to do a little bit more of that today. We're going to talk about concrete. So what are the kind of materials that civil engineers work with? Out of this list here, we do a lot with rocks. So you can see some rocks right here. This is a road I worked on down near Montgomery a couple of years ago, where we kept having a landslide. And so we finally dug out all the loose dirt and we put in all this rock to help anchor it. And then we built a new roadbed right here, which is all the orange. So anyhow, so we do a lot with rock. We do a lot with dirt. What else do we hear? Asphalt. Yeah, a lot of our roads are built with asphalt. Legos, no. That was just kind of a joke in there. Concrete, we do a lot with concrete, a lot with steel. Water, we don't necessarily build with water, but we have to use a lot of water, right? I mean, to get rid of water or to treat the water or bring the water to your home. So we do a lot with water as well. But speaking of different materials, here's Mr. Montanaro out at a construction site that he was at recently to say hi and show you what some of the stuff that he's doing there. Let's see.
Hey, Ms. Price's class. Hope y'all are doing good with your distance learning. This is Mr. Montanaro out here. Got out of the home today. Came to see a construction project. We got some big machines up in here, and here's an inlet going in here. So a lot of dirt moving. A lot of work going on out here. Hope y'all are doing well.
Yeah, so he was out at this construction project where they're moving a lot of dirt. They got all this big equipment. Think they're making like a big parking lot up there. But when they're doing all this rework, that means they're going to change how the drainage. So all the water is now going to come down here to this point right here. He's calling that an inlet. So there's going to be some pipes that go underground and then take it down to the creek or wherever it goes out. So that's a project that he was working on recently. Mrs. Bailey also said hi.
Hey everyone, I'm Alicia Bailey and I am a civil engineer. As civil engineers, we build a lot of things. So one of those materials we use to build things is concrete. So things that you see every day around town that are built with concrete. So we have a curb and gutter. See all the water running through it? That's what it's for. We've got a concrete sidewalk. Then over here, where all the water flows to, it's called a curb inlet. Those are concrete. As you can see, they've got a concrete top, and the water comes in, it goes down into the inlet, and under the ground there is a concrete box that goes into a concrete pipe, and then it flows out.
Let's see, she took some pictures here of some things we can make with concrete. Like here's a light pole, right? So we can form it into a circular shape. She talked about sidewalks, driveways. We call this out here, this is a valley gutter. It helps bring the water that's coming off the road down this valley gutter, and it comes to this inlet, and then it goes below ground and goes into some concrete pipes. So here's some parking spaces with these curb stops, so people know how far to pull up and bump their curb. So we can make concrete into a bunch of different shapes. That's why it's pretty useful to us. So anyhow, now let's go outside and show you how to make concrete.
And that's what we want to show you guys here today is how to make concrete. So real quick, concrete is made up of 4 ingredients. It's got water, sand, rock, and cement. And a lot of people say, oh look, there goes a cement truck. And they're trying to say a concrete truck, but cement is just one of the ingredients in concrete. So if you see a truck like this, that's a concrete truck. That means it's got all 4 ingredients already in there. And it's in there mixing it up. But if you see a truck like this, that's a cement truck, right? And so that's carrying just raw cement, which looks like this. Come on in now here and I'll show you. So this is cement. Cement's like a powder and it's really, really dry. So that's why I had to keep a lid on it, because it'll start absorbing moisture as soon as you take the lid off. So that's cement. It comes from like a limestone. They grind it up and they burn it and they do different processes to it. But anyhow, so that's cement. Cement's one of the ingredients that goes in concrete. And then I said the other ingredients are going to be sand, which I happen to have a bunch of here in my truck, and then rock. And we want to get rock that's kind of real rough like this. We don't want rock so we want this angular rock like that. And then the last part is water. So anyhow, I'll go to make up a batch of concrete. And sorry, normally we do this for you guys in the classroom with you guys, and we let you all take home a little piece, but we'll just have to do it this way this year. So a normal ratio, just kind of a ballpark ratio, is 3-2-1. So 3 parts rock to 2 parts sand to 1 part cement. If we're actually ordering some concrete to make a bridge or something, we'll get way more specific to that, and we'll exactly prescribe how many pounds of rock we want, how many pounds of cement, and how many pounds of sand, and how many pounds of cement we want. Very specific, to get that mixture just right, so we get the right amount of strength, but we don't want to spend too much money, because the cement's the expensive part. So we want to use as little cement as possible, but that's where our strength comes from. And we'd rather use the most rock, because that's the cheapest. So, but anyhow, for a home demonstration here, we're going to use a ratio of 3-2-1. 3 parts rock, 2 parts sand, and 1 part cement. So I'm going to start out with this mixing bucket here, and we'll just do two things of sand. Here comes a second thing of sand. 3 parts rock. 1, 2, 3. About like so. So we'll add the cement. Mix it up a little bit more. And when we add the water, is when that cement really starts to have that chemical reaction that starts it to make like the glue. So the cement is the glue that holds the other parts together. And the glue starts being activated when we add the water. So here goes the water, and again, normally we would measure this and specify exactly how much we want, but for our demonstration here, we're just going to kind of eyeball it till it looks like a good consistency. So add a little bit. I might have added too much. Yeah, probably so. That's way too watery. I should have added just a little bit of water, then I could always add more. Let's see if I can. That's looking better. So when you see that concrete truck going down the road with that big barrel on the back of it that's kind of spinning like this, that's what he's doing. He's mixing that concrete as he's driving from the plant to the job site.
How long can it last in a concrete truck before it gets too hard to use?
Oh yeah, the question is how long can the concrete be in that truck before we use it? They'll be in the specifications for that. We'll have some rules when on a job that says, okay, they have to mix it for at least 15 minutes, but it can't go more than 90 minutes. So if the truck got stuck in traffic coming out to the job site and it doesn't get there and start unloading until after 90 minutes, we'll reject it and send it back, and they got to bring out a new one, and that's at their cost. We got our mixed concrete. I'm gonna make 3 structures here. We're gonna kind of pretend that this would be like a column for a bridge.
I can't fix.
That's a good thing about concrete. You can shape it into any shape you want.
Inside.
Oh, hang on 1 second.
And then this is going to be simulating like some concrete paving where you would just dump it in. Oh, look at that. It's already getting hard at the bottom. So in concrete paving, you would put it in a big, wide area like we did in this shot. And then you spread it out, make it smooth. And now it's wet right now, right? You put your fingers in there, you could write your names, which that makes us mad when we're making sidewalks. You kids write your names in there. But anyhow, it'll start getting harder over the next hour or 2 hours or day. Probably within 4 hours you could walk on it. And then by the next day, it's probably strong enough that you could drive on it. But what we do when we're building bridges, we'll wait 28 days because it keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger all through time. But it gets not quite as strong each day after about 28 days. So we let it go 28 days and then we'll open it up to traffic. So anyhow, we'll come back and check on these in a couple hours and see how they're hardening up. So it's been about an hour now. Let's see how it's doing. We got a little bit of water on the top of this one. That water's gonna dry off. Let's see, look at this one, Elliot. Can you put your fingers, can you just dab your finger in a little bit? Yeah, it's still a little bit soft, but it's getting harder. Now it's been about 4 hours. Let's see how this stuff is looking. It's getting harder. Can't put your finger in as deep as you could earlier. Still not completely hard in that one. That's getting pretty hard. Look at that. Or this one, can't even see a mark in it. It's getting stronger, getting harder. Now it's pretty hard, huh? You can still chip a little bit out on the edges. Okay, so now we are at about 48 hours. It's been 2 days since we mixed this stuff up. Let's see how it looks now. They're all pretty strong, huh?
Guys, that was our little concrete demonstration of how you make concrete. So let's see what you picked up on here. Here's a job we were out on recently. What is this truck right here? Is that a cement truck or is that a concrete truck? right? That's a concrete truck, right? He's not just delivering cement, which is one part of concrete. He's delivering the whole thing that we're pouring out there to making a sidewalk with. If you wanted to see a cement truck, that would be this thing right here. See this truck? He's got the powdered cement in this truck here. And it's going. He's putting it through these pipes, those hoses. And he's delivering it here to this cement plant, or this concrete plant, where they're making concrete. So, and then lastly, last little question here: what are the 4 parts of concrete? What are the 4 ingredients? It takes water, sand, cement, and rock. Okay, man. So I hope you guys learned something about concrete today. Good work with you guys this year. I hope you learned a little bit something about engineers, and y'all go out and have a great summer. Thanks.